Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Isle of Man in the UK. This is John and Mike's MMA Corner.
I am joined right now with Peter Petty. Sir, thank you for joining me. You're actually taking on João Rocha at the upcoming Titan FC card on UFC Fight Pass. I like this matchup. Two guys with little solid records, prospects coming up in the MMA game. How did it feel getting this kind of matchup? Because you've got a guy who's basically on the rise with yourself, so it's quite exciting, I must have thought.
Oh yeah, it's definitely exciting. Big thing, my last fight actually, I fought another undefeated guy from Washington, so it's one of those fights where when you go in against someone who's equally as tough, you get a little bit more hype. You're hyped about the fight, rise to the occasion, and there's a lot of, stakes riding on it. Nobody wants to go home with that loss on the record, so.
No, that's the thing. It's one of them ones where I suppose in training as well, it gives that eagerness to focus that little bit more. I'm not trying to put down anyone with a losing record. Say, for example, you had a guy who was like 1-10. You wouldn't take it as seriously because there's always that fighter's chance there's always one moment where a guy could win the fight, but it does definitely add to it.
Yeah.
Now, you're fighting on this Titan card. You missed out on the card. You've missed out previously. You were meant to fight on a previous card. And again, it's going to be on Fight Pass. Nice exposure for you. And it's just going to be, I'll be tuning into it, and I'm in the UK, so it's good to get your name out there and get your fight scene out there as well.
Yeah, I'm excited, honestly. Going out to Florida, that's the big thing. I'm going to his backyard, so it's exciting. Coming off my debut in Titan back in September, I think I opened a lot of eyes with that finish, so I'm excited to get back out there. Man, I'm trying to call that my second home now.
Well, they're based in Florida now, Titan, it seems. Jeff was saying that they're based in Florida, so it's going to be something it's going to happen often. If you're going to fight regular on the Titan cards, you're probably going to fight a lot of guys in their backyard. Possibly you're going to have a lot of guys based there. Does that maybe encourage you to think about maybe cross training a little bit, maybe down in Florida at all?
No, I actually enjoy training where I'm at. Honestly, being from Maryland and the tri-state DMV area, it's awesome, honestly. We have a very good training camp up here down at Team Lloyd Irvin. I have a bunch of guys that I can work with, from Muay Thai guys, wrestlers, high-level jiu-jitsu guys. So honestly, my training camp with all the bodies and upcoming guys that we have in my room, there's no real need to cross-train. I believe, honestly, we have one of the best teams in the world. It's one of those things that in the coming years, I believe a lot of our guys will be known out there.
It's just a matter of time, really. Yeah, the team's probably just slowly on the up with the guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. There's a lot of guys. I was speaking with Elias Theodore, and he was talking about how. Sorry, just clear my throat. Sorry. He was talking about how with Canada, GSP, was the star, the mega star, and when he left, there was a little bit of a lull in the kind of Canadian MMA scene. There was no major stars, and I said to him, well, what was happening probably when GSP was making that big statement? There was guys like himself, and you got Chad LaPrice, who were just coming up, and yes, they're still making their way up. So it's probably the same with your gym. You've got guys who are just still learning their trade and learning their craft.
Yeah. Honestly, we've had two UFC vets. First one was Mike Easton, and then we had Ron Stallings recently make his debut in the UFC last year. So we have a lot of guys coming up. Right now we have a lot of younger guys such as myself. We have Sadiq, DJ, who will probably be making waves soon enough. So I'm excited about where our gym's heading as well as where we're going for the future.
Is that quite exciting then, I suppose, when you're all training together, because you're all on that kind of upward curve? It's, there's a nice vibe, I imagine.
Oh yeah, definitely. We're all kind of pushing each other. We have this little joke where every sparring session could be a UFC fight, honestly, in our gym.
Well, just don't get injured, all right? It's not. It's you're nearly at fight week, okay? Just chill out, bring it in and just get that fight in. You know what I mean? Let's not do it, Daniel Cormier.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. No injuries here. I don't get hit. That's my big thing. So.
Oh, I like that. I like that line. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That. Look, your opponent. Again, like we said, he's got a solid record as well. Chow Rocha. Do you know anything about him yourself? Have you, or do you just if you just don't care?
I watched a few videos of his previous fights, but big thing, I try and look at probably 2 or 3 times. Don't really stress on it because I believe I fight very unorthodoxly, if that makes sense.
With like in the sense, yeah, you're not
in the realm of fighting. I don't believe there's anyone who really fights quite like I do, so he's going to have to adjust to me as opposed to me adjusting to him. He seems just like another MMA guy who knows some Muay Thai, pretty decent stand-up, pretty decent ground game, but he's not going to be used to the things that I'm throwing from the different angles, from just not caring, honestly. When I go out there, it's me against you, and it's one of those things where are you willing to do the things that I'm willing to do?
Well, that was the thing. Being or not unorthodox, or it's a case of not being predictable. That is certainly a part of the game that's coming in. The sport is constantly always changing, as we know. Look at back when it first started, and then it started to come along to what it is now. It really is about you can't have the standard, let's say 1-2 leg kick. Your standard kind of combination, jab, straight, leg kick. You can't do that. You have to have something different. You have to have the timings different. You have to evolve it all the time because, like you say, if you start to become predictable, then that's when you're just going to get counted. You're going to get basically outstruck. You're going to get taken down, etc. How do you work on then making sure that you're staying unorthodox, you like to say, because you could easily slip into the trap of having a consistent unorthodox style, if that makes sense, so you could always do the same things all the time?
I think, honestly, just reinforcing the basics. As much as I said I'm more orthodox, I also work on the basics a lot. So I do a lot of body kicks, a lot of leg kicks, a lot of jiu-jitsu, a lot of wrestling, so that I'm able to mix them all together and create an unorthodox style that people don't understand. So my thing is I kind of try and know what you're doing before you're going to do it, as well as throw a little twist in it, so you're never quite sure where I'm going to be or what I'm going to do at the time.
One of the things I find is kicks in general aren't used as much as they possibly should be because, let's be honest, your legs are going to give you a better reach. I find that people don't use them enough to maybe separate from other fighters, or use them as well to damage opponents' arms. Just because a guy blocks a kick from hitting his head, the damage in the arms is actually fantastic. If that's a game plan a lot of guys have that people don't realize.
Oh yeah, no doubt. One of my last amateur fights, honestly, I actually made a guy throw up off of body kicks. So that was like one of the first times that ever happened in MMA. So yeah, kicks are definitely underutilized in MMA. It's one of those things where if you can just learn to work the art, especially at Muay Thai, using your shin, turning over your hips, it's one of those things that a lot of MMA guys don't train for that power. No,
especially the turn of the hips is the key bit. I tend to see a lot of guys, they just throw the leg, but they don't get that hip turned over to really enforce the follow-through effect.
Yes, exactly. So once you're able to control your hips, turn that over, it's devastating, especially in MMA, because those small gloves, like at least in Muay Thai, you have the boxing gloves, but those small gloves are not going to protect your head during a head kick.
No, they're not gonna. Yeah, they're not gonna absorb anything. It's just gonna follow on through. That's the thing. And I remember ages ago with my friends. We were a couple of guys that I knew that I lived with, and I was training it. When I'm training MMA, and they were like, "Oh, what?" And I can't remember how we got onto it. I was like, "Well, if you want, I'll show you." I said, "I'll leg kick you," and they were like, "No, I'm not having that." And I said, "Look," I'll let you leg kick me first. You can both leg kick me on the same leg. It's fine. And then I get to go on you both, right? So that makes it so at least I'm weak if that makes sense. And they were like, okay, cool, all right. So both of them both had a go kicking, but the thing is, they didn't know, like you say, they didn't know to turn the hips, didn't know to follow through. So to be honest with you, it wasn't even, it didn't even bother me. It was nothing really. It was a silly kick. And then I said, okay, now it's my turn, and their faces dropped because I didn't flinch, I didn't stumble, and it was like, well, it just silly little things like that shows the difference between a real kick and like Pedro Hizzo when he had an interview with a reporter, and the reporter held the bag on his leg, and Pedro Hizzo just followed through the leg kick, and the guy spun in the air. Just makes a difference. Little things, little techniques makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've got your technique down to a T, obviously coming up for this fight.
Oh yeah, exactly. I'm excited.
Hey, look, I'm excited too. No, I can't wait for this Titan card to come along. The last card was absolutely stellar as well, you see. So, and the production, everything's starting to go well, especially on Fight Pass. It's awesome. It's great for people like in the UK, like myself, to be able to access promotions in the US that you normally wouldn't be able to get if they weren't on Fight Pass. And like we said, you're fighting on it. So before I let you go, though, how about can people jump on social media, man, to give you a follow and stuff?
Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram. I post a lot of cool stuff, funny stuff at P Petties. Last name Petties. It's P Petties. Petties. Or on Twitter at Why So Serious MMA.
Jump on, give them a follow, ladies and gentlemen. I insist you do. What about sponsors? You got any sponsors there, buddy?
Sponsors. Sucker Punch Entertainment. My manager. Brian Butler. Alienware, and I think we're working on one. I'm not sure if it's completed yet, but
awesome.
I'll give them a shout out. I think it's Direct Vapor. So thank you for the sponsors. I'm excited to put on the show April 30th.
And last but not least, buddy, training partners, particularly that have helped you out, coaches and stuff. Anyone, family and friends or anything?
Big shout out to Team Lloyd Urban. We have a whole bunch of guys coming up. DJ Jackson, John Del Bruce, Sadiq Youssef. They're all fighting April 16th in Baltimore, Maryland. And huge shout out to James Vick, who's fighting April 23rd on the UFC card. Now, I guess OSP versus John Jones. So, exciting month for us. And then I'm followed up, Titan FC, April 30th.
Awesome. Look, have a great weekend at Titan FC. I hope all the other guys have great fights, and it's just a stellar month for you all.
Thank you. It's gonna be fun.